topic. How you doing today, Cedric?
Doing wonderful. How are you?
Did you enjoy the snow over the weekend?
Yes. I was actually kind of forced to be out in the snow.
Forced?
Let's just say forced to play in the snow and really doing it for you guys.
Are you not a big fan of the snow then?
I like the snow, but I mean, when you're carrying around a camera and an umbrella,
see.
But it was fun nevertheless. I do like snow. I just don't like when it interrupts what I want to do. That's the only thing I hate about it. And I guess
when you're filming, you got to be careful with the equipment and stuff getting too wet and things like this.
Yeah, depending on the equipment. I didn't have my, my foolproof weathered sealed gear with me, so I was just being very cautious, and I didn't want to slip and fall.
Of course, and then break like a lens or something like that.
Exactly.
That would be awful. I didn't think about that until recently. Like in Korea, I was doing a bit of filming over the weekend as well. Not myself, like other people were filming me. And then the snow was forecast for a Sunday, and I was finished by then. But they were saying, oh, we've got to film on that day, but if it rains, we might have to cancel. Because in Korea, a lot of the times, they don't want to film like a rainy day. They want it sunny and nice weather and stuff like that.
Sure.
And they were talking about their equipment as well would get ruined, or they'd have to have someone to hold up an umbrella. And I never thought about all those parts of it. Like, it just goes on and on and on. Have you hurt your wrist, Cedric? What's going on there?
Oh, well, I've been feeling some pain in my wrist, and I self-diagnosed myself via the internet. And
Okie dokie. Well done, Dr. Cedric.
I think it's just a ligament, and because I work out a lot.
Sure.
And I think it's just getting older and also just, putting a lot of strain on my wrist.
So you got a little wrist strap on there.
Yeah. And so just to make sure I don't hurt it anymore and give my wrist a little break for a week or two.
Are you still working out though?
I am. Yeah, I just came from the gym today, but I was very careful.
Fantastic. Give that arm a little rest, because you're right. The older you get, it takes longer to recover and all that kind of stuff. So do take it easy, Ceddy. Today's hashtag, before we get into K-Patch, is diary, or irgi in Korean. Have you ever kept a diary before?
Yes, actually, but I called it a journal.
A journal. That sounds very American to me. And in British English, diary also means planner. Like, we put down what we've got to do maybe next week or something like that. But I don't think you call that a diary.
No,
right?
we just call that, we keep those separate. Just a planner and a diary.
What did you have in your journal? When did you keep this journal?
So my first journal was when I was a teenager, and I would just write my thoughts and things that I did throughout either the day or the week. And my intent was to write in it every day, which never happened.
Never. One day, and that's about it for me.
Right. I still have my old journals, and I try to pick it back up in my 20s. But it's really cool because I get to see where my thoughts were and just the things that I was dealing with at the time, that you would tend to maybe forget the nuances of those situations if you don't write them down.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it could take you back into those moments. And so I have a couple of them, but my entries would start like maybe 2 in a week and then eventually become like every couple of months. So I have to recap what happened in the previous few months. But it's something that I used to do, and I like to do still. But I figure now that I do a lot of video work, that's sort of my journaling. That's
like, call it a vlog or a blog, because it's a log of what you've done. It is like a digital diary, isn't it? It's wonderful. But you're right. I think the payoff of a diary is not when you're writing it late at night, I don't want to do this. It's like years down the line when you read it, or show it to your kids or something like that. I think that would be wonderful. Unless it's got lots about ex-girlfriends and ex-boyfriends and they start questioning, do you love mummy?
Right, which I have a few names mentioned in mine.
I'm sure that's why many people write diaries in the first place, those love problems and stuff like that. I'd love to just share everyone's diary entries, like the most embarrassing ones. I think that would be fun. A couple more messages from our listeners before we get to K-Patch. Cherie says, the last 24 hours as a diary entry would be just work and then my belly dancing class. Pretty boring. What do you mean?
What?
Belly dancing sounds fun. No?
I know.
Have you ever belly danced?
No, but that would be fun. Isn't that... No, maybe I'm confusing it with like the Hawaiian, I forget what you call it, but they do the little...
with the grass skirts and everything.
Yeah,
it seems like a similar kind of motion, but maybe a bit slower, because isn't belly dance, you do it quite quickly, and don't you need a little bit of wobble there? Like, if you've got toned six-pack, I don't think it works as well, belly dancing.
Right. Yeah, I've seen it. It's really cool.
And I've heard it's good exercise as well. Forrest Philoppa Hartley from the US says, I've never been inspired to maintain a paper diary, but I suppose my social media is one of sorts. I didn't think about that. That is a diary as well, isn't it?
Very true.
Based upon the amount of likes I get, my assessment of the worth of my diary to society, or lack thereof, has been validated. Fun fact, I'm working on an application to capture and relay thoughts, all via speaking.
Oh, wow.
If you get that app up and running, Hartley, let's have a bit of that. Because when I'm driving, I have nothing to do. I'd love to put down my thoughts in a diary entry like that. That would be a good idea. So, Cedric, today's theme for K-Patch, fill us in.
So we're going to be talking about the movie Parasite, and I've got some exciting things to show you because I'll take you on location to some of the places where the film was actually shot.
You've seen the film, Cedric?
I did, actually, for this segment to prepare for it. Because
Daily K is doing wonders for Parasite. I think we deserve a mention from Bong Joon-ho because Korean Only yesterday, we did it as part of her segment, Learning Korean Through Lines in the Movie.
Yeah.
And she watched it as well because of this segment. So we've inspired two people now.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to watch it eventually, but I just kept putting it off. And then, I figured in order to do this segment justice, I needed to watch it for the people. I loved it.
Brilliant.
Absolutely loved it in so many ways. And I'm so tempted to just give out spoilers, but I will not.
Are you a movie guy in general? Do you like watching films?
I love watching films. I just never do it. I constantly procrastinate on watching films. And so a lot of the classics I have not watched.
Oh, wow.
But when I actually sit down and watch it, now that I'm an actual filmmaker, I can have a different appreciation for these films, and I can look at it from a different perspective.
Like from the cinematography perspective, what did you think of Parasite? Because I'm no expert. Was it good in those ways as well?
Yes, it was beautifully shot. The pacing, the music. There was a little montage that was about 5 minutes in the film, and it was just perfect.
I didn't even notice that. See, it goes over the heads of people like me, but I did love the film as well. I'm glad you watched it. I'm glad this inspired you to watch it as well, quicker than you might have. And then we're going to see some locations from the film that you actually visited. That's amazing. Leon says, I rewatched Parasite yesterday with my mum. Glowy Chain says, wow, today's about Parasite again. We've got to tip our hats to this because it was momentous last week, winning the Oscar for Best Picture and the other 3 as well. Glowy Jane also rewatched the movie last Sunday. You've got one up on me and Cedric. We'll have to rewatch it too. So your first video is going to one of the locations, is it?
Yes, actually there's 2 of the locations which is in the same area.
Okay.
And I'll talk you guys through it, but let's go ahead and take a watch. Now this is going to be one of the first scenes that you guys will recognize.
Is this the street where they live? Near where they live?
Not necessarily, but yeah, you see where that is?
That's where they're having a drink together,
exactly.
isn't it?
And
he's asking to take over the tutoring.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
So, as you can see, there's the market there. They use a different name in the movie, but that's the same location.
Okay.
And right down the street from the market is Ki-taek, which is the father.
Yeah.
That's sort of where they live in the movie.
Oh, wow.
So
it's very close by.
Yeah, and that's where, in the montage, she takes the peach.
He takes the
and
peach.
She's walking towards these stairs.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so it's really cool. So in the movie, it's sort of supposed to be, I guess, 2 different,
locations.
Johnny Jumps or convenience stores, but it's the same area.
Wow, those stairs as well. I forgot about them because Joker, the stairs that featured in that film, got a lot of love and fame, I heard, in Brooklyn or in New York. But there are stairs in Parasite as well.
Right.
Where is this whole area? In Seoul?
Yeah, this is in Seoul. This is, I forget the neighborhood. I should have wrote it down, but it's kind of near the Chungmuro station area. Oh, so it's not too far from Central Seoul.
Haewadong is where our producer says it is. In Central Seoul, you're right, though.
Yeah.
Wow, okay, so it's quite an easy place to get to. I used to go to Haewadong just for dates and stuff like that. It's a nice central location with lots of places to eat and drink and things like that. And this is just in the back streets around there, is it?
Yeah, so it's a couple of minutes walk from the bus station and the subway station, but it's very accessible.
And then it's just like a place where people are living there. It's not like a touristy. Well, it is now a touristy place.
Exactly. Right. And I don't know if you guys caught it in the beginning of the video. There are actually tourists out there.
Really?
So
there are
the
other
people that you saw in there, they were like there to see the supermarket.
Oh, I see.
And
I
it
thought
was
they were
snowing.
just locals and
Right.
stuff.
No. They were definitely tourists.
That's amazing, isn't it? Because, to be honest, it's not really a touristy, glossy, glamorous place to
Not
go and
at all.
visit.
It's
If you just show me that without the context, I'd be like, well, that's quite run down.
right. But the
That's
way
in the
they make it
movie.
look in the movie, it's obviously just epic and just it's bigger than life. But I mean, when you go there, it's just cool to know that that's exactly where the film crew was.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Cherie Russell says Parasite was an amazing movie. Maybe my UF. Does UF mean I'm going to take ultimate film? I don't know. I'm just making up what that could be. Please explain that. Leon says, I recognize these locations. Donna's saying Park Seo-joon as well. And Glowy Jane saying, I know, Donna, Park Seo-joon was there. I guess that makes it special as well, that your favourite celebrities or actors from the film were sitting there as well in that location. Leon says, I'm not sure how the people, though, living in the neighbourhood are going to react to more visitors, though, but it might help them with earning more income. I guess from the Pyeongjam, as in the convenience store, it's good for them, maybe. They'll sell more products. But what about people just living there, I wonder? Yeah.
Right. And, you know, I read somewhere online because the city of Seoul is capitalizing on making these spots kind of a tourist location, at least for the time being. But they do make sure that they want the tourists to make sure that they're quiet and respectful in the neighborhoods.
Sure, because there are some like Hanok Mals, the villages with traditional Korean houses, which are tourist locations, but they advise you must be quiet because people are living there at the same time.
Right.
Our producer asks, he's curious, were some of the people in the first scenes of that video foreign tourists as well, or were they all Korean?
They were, because they were speaking Chinese.
Oh,
yeah,
I see.
so
Wow.
I think it's Chinese.
Okay.
You know, I'm not a Chinese expert,
But not Korean.
They're definitely not Korean. That I could tell. So
That's amazing
It was
already.
really cool. It was really cool. Yeah.
I wonder if before the Oscars there was any kind of buzz like this, because it was getting a lot of critical acclaim. But now, thanks to the Oscars, I'm sure so many people are going to come and see these places. My friend did say on his social media that they're going to put up some plaques at certain filming locations so you know you're at the right place and stuff like that. I don't know, again, how people are going to feel about that. What we'll do now is get to a song break and we'll see some more from Cedric and from you guys. Obviously, we don't expect you to have a Parasite filming location next door, but any place near you that's quite famous, maybe for being in a movie, a drama, a TV show, send it in to us via Kakao Talk. Our username is DailyK, or just write in a message via the usual places, YouTube, the application, the website. Here's M Flying, Crossroad, 골목길에서. We're back for part 2 of K-Patch with Cedric in the studio. That M-Flying track, Crossroads in English, but in Korean, 골목길 is like that alley that you filmed, right? That's what a 골목길 is. I don't know how to describe it. Just a small kind of side street in English. Maybe some alleyways that in New York you wouldn't want to go down, or London as well. But here, they're pretty safe, right? It's not often you're like, I don't want to go down that alleyway. 골목길. Some messages to read out as well. We've got quite a few from you guys. We've got the V Live on as well. Tete saying, Ang, live요? Is this live? Yes, it is. We are in the studio. Hello, Tete. Send in your messages from wherever you are. And Siska sent in this one saying, these are places that have been shot in Korea, Korean dramas and reality shows, in Indonesia. So Memories in Bali starring Soji Sop, First of a Royal Prince starring Cha Tae-hyun was in Bali as well. Law of the Jungle was shot in the Papua Forest. Running Man in Jakarta, Barefoot Friends in Yogyakarta, Battle Trip in Bali, One Night Food Trip in Bali, and some more that I forgot. Wow, that's a massive list, isn't it?
That is crazy.
Been to Indonesia, Cedric?
No, I plan to go either this year or next year. Hopefully.
That sounds beautiful, doesn't it? Yeah.
Kevin Leonard from the States says perhaps the most famous set of stairs in movie history are in front of the Philadelphia Museum of Art, better known as the Rocky Steps.
Oh.
We were talking about the stairs in Parasite,
yes.
and definitely I would say the stairs in Rocky trumps all set of stairs in any movie history for sure.
Yeah, if you are a millennial or born, in the 90s or well, not the 90s, maybe the 2000s, you might not be familiar with that scene, but that was the iconic scene from movies growing up.
The most motivating scene ever.
Eye of the Tiger in the background and everything, wasn't it? Our producer has corrected himself as well. Haoedong is not where it is. It's Arirang, which is kind of west, I suppose, of Seoul. But that is also quite a central region. Not too far from Seoul Station in Mapogu district. And if you just type in Arirang, one of the first search terms related with it is that supermarket name I saw. Tweji Super is what you're looking for, and it'll tell you exactly where it is. But like you said, that is not the name that it had in the film. They changed the signage,
it was Uri Super. So
Uri Super.
Yeah, our supermarket.
Yeah, that does seem a bit weird. It says Tweji and then sal, which means pork and then rice. Super meaning like supermarket. Pork rice supermarket. Interesting. But we got that on the video. And we got another message here from Sherry saying, Columbus, Ohio, we had Arnold Schwarzenegger film a movie here, but I don't recall the name since I don't really care for his movies. And Shawshank Redemption was filmed not far from here. Oh, wow.
Ooh,
that's pretty
classic.
Cool. That is a brilliant film, isn't it? Yeah.
Yep. Kevin also mentions from the U.S., just a short distance from my house is New England Studios, which houses 4 sound stages, and it opened in 2015, and several different movies or shows such as Castle Rock, The Equalizer 2, and Central Intelligence were actually filmed there.
Ooh.
And also some of the exterior shots were filmed at locations elsewhere in Massachusetts. And he also recalls coming home one night to a film crew that had set up in his own neighborhood, and the police asked him to quietly proceed a short distance from his own driveway.
Wow.
That's pretty cool. And that turned out to be Castle Rock, filming for that.
That's amazing, yeah. I heard in the UK, a few of my friends, because you live in houses and they've got gardens, so sometimes they just want random houses to film in. Mm-hmm. Like, if a movie is filming in that location, they'll just randomly knock on doors and say, can we film in your garden or your living room? And they'll give you some money and stuff like that. They did a zombie film in my friend's apartment.
Oh, that's cool.
And you get to see all the celebrities and stuff like that. That is pretty amazing. We're going to get to your second clip now, Cedric. Where are we going?
The second clip is... this is one location that has probably one of the most dramatic scenes in the movie. And if you guys have seen it, you'll know what we're talking about. So let's watch.
Oh, okay. The Chahamun Tunnel.
Yeah.
Oh, is this when it's raining and they're like
That's
walking
right.
back? I felt so sorry for them.
That was a very emotional part of the movie. Very scary.
They're just trudging along, yeah? Is that the tunnel?
That's the tunnel.
Wow.
And those are the stairs
Ew.
that they were running down, and it was just pouring.
If there's lots of tourists going here, the air's not going to be good there in the tunnel with all the cars and stuff. But
probably
I guess
not.
you get a feel for the hard life.
Right, and this is the scene where they're going into the tunnel.
Yeah, I've never walked through a tunnel like that. And whenever I see people walking there, I'm like, what are you doing? You know, that air's terrible and it's dangerous with the cars shooting past. You felt like, at that point, there was such a poor, underprivileged family.
Right, and there was a big, I guess, symbolism of them going down the stairs as well.
Yeah. They were coming out of that rich person's house and then walking back home, right?
Right. Yeah, so that was really cool. That was probably my favorite location to see.
That is iconic from the film, isn't it? I really wondered, did they have a day where it really poured with rain? Because it seemed so real.
Right.
Like the amount of rainfall that was there.
I'm gonna venture to say, I should look that up, but I'm gonna venture to say they probably artificially produced it.
Yeah, because you can't just wait around forever, right? For the rain. Do you know where I wish you would have went? And I want to go.
Where's that?
It's the rich person's house.
Oh,
that looked amazing.
I couldn't find any information on where that is.
And I'm guessing you can't. I'm sure it's someone's actual residence or something like that.
I think I remember reading that that house was actually built for the movie. I could be wrong. Please fact check. But yeah, I believe that was built for the movie. And part of the house, the exterior, was actually also computer graphics, CGI.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
You know, I have had the privilege of not doing exactly the same job as the characters in that of tutoring a wealthy family, but working with a wealthy family who live in the Hannam-dong area near the big H Hotel on the hill there at the top of Gyeongnidan. And those houses there are like the houses of the rich and famous, like many ambassadors as well live there. And when I saw that house, it kind of reminded me of the one I used to visit that has a lovely luxurious garden and stuff like that. If they opened that up to tourists, that would be an amazing place.
That would be great.
Come on, Parasite people, open it up for us. It looks amazing. Cherie says that rain scene from Parasite was a really tough one to watch, really emotional. I'm sure many people at that point were a bit torn, to support the poor family, even though they've done a lot of bad things. But by the end of the movie, no spoilers, but I think you kind of lose a bit of that feeling sorry for
just a little bit.
Glowy Jade also says, yep, that was one impactful scene in Parasite. Siska saying, yeah, where is that house? Like Cedric said, we don't have too much information on that. I don't think that's a place that you can just go openly to watch and see that.
Right. It's not openly promoted, at least, as one of the locations that you can just go and
Where
visit.
was that tunnel that you just filmed there? Was it close to the Aihyundong, the supermarket and stuff?
No, that one was actually a little, you got to venture a little north of Seoul.
Okay.
And so it was a little, I took a bus there.
All accessible by public transport, though, the scenes
it's not hard, not difficult at all.
Fantastic. Okay, so guys, you see the inspiration here. It's just anywhere that's become famous thanks to a movie, a drama, a scene from a TV show. I'm trying to think. Well, London is the backdrop to so many movies, so things like Tower Bridge or The London Eye, they've been in so many films, like terrorist films where they get blown up and stuff like that.
Right.
James Bond movies as well. I'm trying to think more local to where I used to live, and I can't think of anything. I know Sherlock Holmes, Benedict Cumberbatch. He went to school in Harrow, but I don't think that was filmed in any of his things. How about where you were from in the States, Cedric? Any things that you can think of famous from films and movies?
I mean, when I lived in New Jersey, right next to New York City, as you can imagine, I mean, tons of movies and shows are filmed in New York City.
Yeah.
And so it's really cool to just, whenever I see a movie with New York City, and it's like, oh, I know where that is.
You feel like, I've been there, right?
Yeah.
How about your original hometown, though, Cedric?
Oh, man, no one goes there. No one films there.
No rapper music videos or anything like that?
You know what? There is one of the most famous hip-hop artists and rappers. His name is J. Cole.
Okay.
Yeah, he's actually from my hometown.
Wow.
And we're the same age. We graduated at the same time, different high schools.
That's pretty amazing.
And so when he blew up, he would do music videos in the hometown. So that was really cool to see.
And you'd see like places you knew as well. That's really cool, isn't it? Gabby says, I think the houses sets were completely built for the movie Parasite, as Cedric said. One was built in a kind of huge swimming pool, or maybe I heard wrong. Well, yeah, maybe they're tricks of the trade. Right? And Can says, it's so hard to comment about these scenes and stuff without spoiling the movie. Yeah, no spoilers for anyone who hasn't watched it. Let's stick to that. In part 3, we're going to show some of our listener content in terms of movies, or videos, I should say, and photos. After a song break, this is The Bane with Tunnel. We're back for part 3 of K-Patch with Cedric in the studio, taking a look at filming locations from Parasite. Have you done that before, Cedric? Like to film or a drama or something and gone to the sites? Is this a first?
I don't think I have, but something that I just thought of is there have been moments here and there where I've seen like a big crew actually filming something, maybe a movie or a TV show, most of which I wasn't familiar with what was being filmed, and one was actually recent. I think last week I saw a film crew, and it's more common in Seoul to just see random film crews.
Sure.
They blocked off a side street, and they were down the street, so I couldn't tell what they were filming. So it was a little alley.
You're always curious, though, right? Like, what's going on?
And there was a little sign saying, "Please do not, come in. We're filming." And I was just wondering, like, how do cars who actually live in that street?
Yeah, what do they do?
Yeah,
this is not nice for them.
So it must be frustrating for them. But it's pretty cool. But I don't think I've actually willingly gone out to a location that I can remember.
No, I saw in one of the Avengers film, it made a lot of headlines that it was going to be filmed partly in Korea. There was a Korean actress in it, and they filmed down by the Pampo Bridge and the floating islands, the Sebitsom.
Yeah.
And so I saw it in the movie, and I didn't go just because it was in the movie, but it looked really cool in the movie. So then I went down there, and I love like hanging out there with the kids these days. And I remember as well for Black Panther, I think they filmed a few scenes down in Busan.
That's correct.
And it looked amazing on screen. And I've also been there before as well, which was cool. You're right. I didn't see too much filming when I lived in London, but here it seems to be, I guess, there's not as many places to film in other cities. A lot of it is in Seoul. So you just randomly see things here and there.
Right.
I often see them filming like driving on the streets of Ilsan, and sometimes they have a car on a truck and they'll just be pretending to drive.
Oh,
in
that's
that.
cool.
Yeah, and you can kind of look in the windows and see who the actors and actresses are, but many times I don't recognise. It's wasted on me, unfortunately.
That's funny.
We've got one video, I believe, from Siska in Indonesia showing us some Hollywood movie locations in Indonesia. Oh, this is cool. Not just career related. Eat, Pray, Love with Julia Roberts. Oh, I want to see that. That's on Netflix. Have you watched that film?
I have not, but I love Julia Roberts.
I'm a massive fan, yeah. She hasn't been in stuff for ages.
Okay.
So that's where she goes and rests and relaxes. Anaconda.
Yeah, Anaconda was good.
King Kong is in Indonesia. Really?
I thought it was all CGI.
Black Hat, starring Chris Hemsworth. I don't know that movie, but we know Chris Hemsworth these days, obviously.
The Raid. Man, I've got to watch all these movies.
I've got to catch up as well. The Fall, After Dark. I'm not aware of so many of these films, but it seems like Indonesia is pretty popular. I guess as a kind of paradise destination with the kind of historical backdrops, it must be perfect right out there. That's so cool. You say Chris Hemsworth, did shooting for Black Hat, and the location was not too far from my area. I'd love to see Chris Hemsworth. He looks like good fun, actually, to hang out with. I'd imagine he'd want to be on Daily K as well. I've got that feeling.
We'll try to get him on.
Yeah. Chris, if you're listening, come on, buddy. We've got something from Donna as well in New York. Maybe you'll be familiar with this then. Do you know what that is, this sphere here?
That I actually don't.
Apparently, it's a picture of the Unisphere that was built for New York's World Fair in 1964. It's often used as a backdrop in film and television, not too far from my apartment.
Oh, okay.
Now you know. I thought it was, just glimpsing at it, that Universal Studios thing. That
I almost thought that as well.
At a theme park. That looks amazing, though. That's pretty huge, looking at how big the people are in the foreground. You say lots of kids also swim in the water when the weather is nice. Oh, what a lovely place to go. Fantastic. You weren't around when the New York World Fair went on in 64?
No, a little before my time. Just a little.
Donna also says, one time they were filming on the street near my apartment in Brooklyn, and I had to go to the bathroom so bad and they wouldn't let me through. Wait, so if you live there, you still don't have any right to go? That sounds a bit messed up.
They should pay the residents.
Yeah, surely for inconvenience or something like that. That is interesting. We've also got something here from Hartley in the States. So this is a picture. I recognise that book. That's Korean Onney's book that she recently released. But you say you took it when you got Korean Onney's book. You can see US Capitol in the background.
I was going to say that dome does look like the Capitol.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Is that really in the background of your photo? That's amazing, isn't it? It's kind of famous or infamous, depending upon your inclinations. Have you been to Capitol?
I have, several times. Is
that somewhere that kids go on like a school trip and stuff?
Yeah, more like a history type of trip or educational trip. Yeah, and it's pretty big inside, and if you look up in the dome area, there's nice little artwork.
You get to go inside?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. I recently was watching the drama Designated Survivor with Kiefer Sutherland, and they blow up that building in that drama.
Oh, no.
So that is really... That site you see as well from far away, it's on fire and it's burning and stuff like that. That's amazing, Hartley. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Will from Canada says, our city has been getting a lot more movies made here. Currently, Liam Neeson is shooting a movie called The Ice Road. Liam Neeson? That's pretty big, isn't it?
Oh, man.
Did you watch his really big hit that was hugely popular here, Taken.
I did.
Is that good? I still haven't seen it.
Taken was good. I think there's a second part, which I didn't watch.
I think there's number 3 as well.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, the first one I watched, it was really good. Very dramatic. And he's just like, you don't want to mess with Liam.
Yeah, he didn't really have that image, I think, until Taken.
Oh, really?
And then, like, he has that really tough image. I heard 2 and 3, not as good as number 1 at all.
It's usually that way.
They just go on like a money-spinning event, don't they? We've also got one from Mamlu Farabi in Indonesia, I believe. Let's check out what these photos are. Oh, that looks rather nice, doesn't it? You say this is the location of the Ave Mariam, an Indonesian movie in Semarang, Central Java. The first one is Lawang Sewu, and the second one is Gereja Blenduk, a church. And then we've also got Lawang Sewu, which means 1,000 doors. It looks like a rather lovely filming location, right? Very peaceful. Beautiful, thank you.
Make it look epic.
Yeah, I think you could find some brilliant backdrops in every country, right? If you look hard enough and then getting filming permission. As a filmmaker yourself, Cedric, do you like go out and look for certain places to film, or is it just you're filming stories and then just whatever happens to be in the backdrop?
Sort of both. It really depends on what I'm filming. For example, a lot of times, Becky and I, as you guys know, we film a lot together. If we have an idea, we'll think of like maybe a location to go to.
Yeah.
And we'll do a little bit of research or pre-planning. For example, when we went to Yosu, we knew that we wanted to film sort of a story, vloggy video. And so, we did some research. This is where we want to go. And this is kind of the story that we want to tell.
What kind of makes a good location for you guys, like a desirable thing?
I think water always looks good.
This is true. Not just in a bottle.
It just always looks good.
Yeah.
You just throw a drone in the air and just hit record. Yeah, and a lot of like mountains, like the background scenery, like that looks amazing.
That's pretty cool, isn't it? I think like I've done a bit of filming recently, and the writer was telling me officially in many locations, not maybe so much for YouTube, but for the terrestrial TV stations, they got to ask for loads of permission, like if it's going to be on a big TV show. And so for everywhere that appeared, she had to call up like their marketing team and then get some written permission, and she had to send an application and stuff. So it can be a hustle that way. I'm guessing for movies as well, you really need it, right?
Right.
If you're going to close off a street or something like that. Next week's theme, Cedric, for K-Patch.
We're going to be talking about norebangs or karaoke rooms.
Yay! Are you a fan?
I love norebangs.
Fantastic. I hope we get to see you singing.
We will. We
Yay!
will.
Because I remember your rap from ages ago. It was really good.
That was fun.
But I'd like some ballad music. If I can put in a request now, maybe some trot as well.
All right, we'll see.
Okay, guys, film your videos for that as well. Just random singing would be fine. And we'll see you next Wednesday, Cedric.
Have a good week, everyone.
This is from the Parasite soundtrack. It's Cheo Shik and Chong Jae-il. I think it's in the closing credits. Soju one glass, soju 한 잔.